What's going on, guys? Roger here at QVO Tactical. We are back out on the range with a video that I think a lot of you are going to like. When Marco and I took our other buddy Nick out to do the build drill video, got a lot of feedback from you guys, a lot of positive feedback, appreciate it, about how you guys want to see more videos like that where we're bringing other shooters out here to kind of run them through some drills and improve on their skills. Our other buddy Nick, I was actually talking with him last week, and he's kind of switched over on his carry gun to red dot. He's always been an iron sight guy, and he was talking about how he was having issues picking up the red dot, getting on target quicker. So Marco and I were thinking, hey, perfect opportunity to bring him out on the range with us and get you guys another video of showing a more of a newer shooter, or newer to the red dot platform, and kind of like where he started, and then a few hours with us to see where he's progressed and gotten to. So today's video is going to be about having our buddy out here, Nick, shooting his 365X macro. He just threw a Holosun 407 or 507K on it. So we're going to go through everything from just kind of seeing where his standard draw is now that he's at, like this training. He's had a little bit of training, he's told me, over the last few years. So we kind of want to see where his fundamentals are. On top of that, we want to go over, you know, dot specific stuff like getting it zeroed properly. Is it supposed to line up with your irons? Is it not supposed to? Should you zero them independently? Yes, that's the short answer. But we'll go over all that stuff, get his gun dialed in, and then Marco and I are going to run him through some of the stuff that we run newer shooters through, and just see how his progression is with, you know, a 3 to 4 hour range session. So without further ado, let's get into it. So guys, the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to demo a build drill for Nick and kind of have him do the same exact thing. What we want to do from there, Marco and I will kind of be able to look at his stance, look at his grip. For him, we want to see like the time it's taken for him to acquire that dot. We can look at his trigger pull. But first thing we always do with anybody we bring on the range, we're going to demo what we want them to do. So I'm going to start the timer here. We're about roughly 7 yards out. So Nick, just kind of look at what I'm doing, and then from here, I want you just to do, when you're up, you're going to do your natural draw, how you've been drawing for the years that you've been carrying. I want you to do all that stuff and just put 6 rounds in the A zone, which is that center box. Don't worry about the time. Right now, we're just kind of looking at all the fundamentals that we just talked about. But like I said, I'll demo it for you first. So I'm just going to do a nice smooth one here. I'm not going to go, you know, blazing for time. I'm just going to go for accuracy. So here we go. Stand by. There we go. Nice and clean, all alpha for a 396. So my first shot on the draw was a full 2 seconds. So I took 2 seconds to get up on target, and my splits were in the threes. Marco and I normally can get this down to like sub 2 seconds, but when we're blazing for time. But coming down here, let's go look at these hits real quick. This is the type of accuracy that we want you to start getting. So right here, nice and controlled, doubles, 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 and so all alpha. You understand what the alpha box is here? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So we're going to have you do the same thing. Just a nice draw, present. You're going to fire 6 rounds on target, and we'll kind of diagnose and look at things from there.
Okay.
All right, Nick, so like we said, just want you to draw, present, fire 6 rounds, 7 yards out, and you're going for the alpha zone. All right? So on the buzzer, stand by. Here we go. Okay, go ahead and reholster. Cool, so 1052 for the total of 6 shots. First shot was a 343, and you're looking at about 1.25 seconds to 1.5 seconds between each shot. So definitely a lot that we can improve on from there. When you were firing, where were you putting your dot in relation to the target?
Right in the middle.
So right in the center, so let's go down here and look. So you were aiming about here?
I was aiming right here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you're aiming there and we're hitting here, a couple of things. So seeing how far your group is, there's definitely some play going on when you're engaging the trigger. So your gun's moving on you before your sights are moving and everything before you're actually breaking the trigger, breaking the wall. So the fact that you have like somewhat of a group here, somewhat of a group here, that tells us that's going on. The other thing too is if you're aiming here and everything's coming low and left, we're going to check a few things. One, we'll obviously check both of our dots for an accurate zero. But in addition to that, Marco will have some stuff that we're going to look at with your grip and everything like that. Marco?
Yep. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And we got to fix his arms. That's really pretty easy stuff to fix.
It's pretty typical for right-handed shooters to shoot low and left. So especially when learning. So we'll go over all that stuff. But right now that we've seen this, we're going to fix a couple things with your stance and everything like that, make it a little more aggressive. And it'll make sense. We were talking about some sports stuff earlier. It'll make sense with that. But right now, let's get our dots dialed in and get a nice precise zero with them.
Okay.
Next thing I want to do, guys, is just to reconfirm zero on my Staccato CS, and then we're also going to check zero on Nick's 365X macro. If you guys are interested in like learning how to zero your handgun red dots, we did a full video on it, so definitely check that out. We're going to kind of go through this quick, but I'm going to shoot just 5-round group here at 10 yards. I've already ranged out to make sure we're at 10. I know a lot of people are going to be asking, hey, why do you zero at 10, or why not 15 or 25? I used to zero at 25, but honestly, guys, zeroing at 25 yards is very difficult for me. If it's not for you, dude, more power to you. But, you know, 10 yards is 30 feet, and statistically, the most like times that you're going to be involved in some type of defensive shooting, you know, per FBI statistics, is going to be within like 6 to 10 feet, let alone 30. So for me, that makes sense for me to zero at 10 yards. I'm still hitting all the way out to 100 with certain guns, so I'm fine with that. But to me, I'm able to get a very confident, precise zero at 10 yards, and that's why I do it. Cool, let's go take a look. So guys, as you can see, definitely a super tight, confident, precise zero. That's what I want to see out of my carry handgun. Again, a lot of you guys ask me, hey, is a Staccato worth it? Well, this is the kind of accuracy that I'm getting with my Staccato CS. This gun's only, I think it's what, 3.5-inch barrel. You know, granted, again, guys, it's 10 yards, but this is the kind of accuracy that we want to see, that I want to see. From here, I can easily tell this was a solid 4 rounds. This was me throwing it, so I'm going to make my adjustments from here, 3/4 of an inch to the right and 1 3/4 inches down. So I'll make my adjustments. Running the Holosun 509T with the primary arms ACSS reticle, and we'll go over that because that's a really good red dot for new red dot shooters in my opinion. But yeah, that's the kind of accuracy we're getting out of the Staccato CS. I'll get mine adjusted, and then we will check out Nick's 365X macro and see where he's at. All right, so made my adjustments, gonna shoot my second group, and hopefully we're exactly where we need to be. Cool, go take a look. So I made our adjustments, and looks like now I'm pretty much centered. Got a nice group here, got one flyer there. I'll make a couple adjustments right off of there, but then I'm gonna call it, that's good to go. And now we'll get Nick's gun zeroed in. So we got Nick's X macro now with a, looks like a Holosun 507K green. You said that you went out and zeroed this, you were using like a foam block, but you didn't get like the tightest zero that you could have gotten, right? You were having a little bit of trouble getting it like properly balanced on that block?
Correct.
All right, so we're using this vise. I'm gonna shoot a group with his gun and kind of see where his dot is, and then from there we'll get it dialed in and get further in the range there. But I'm gonna shoot the bottom right target here, and we'll see how it's shooting. That is definitely not a Staccato trigger, Marco. All right, let's go take a look. So down here at the target, guys, got a decent grouping. I got one flyer here, but for the most part, it's all within 1 inch. As far as being on target and lined up, though, it looks like we are shooting 1.5 inches high and a full inch left. So if we go back to looking at Nick's first rounds on the target, he was actually shooting left and low and left.
Yep.
And so if this gun's shooting high and left, we got a few things to work on, right, Marco?
Trigger press, one of them for sure. That's usually the most common issue with most shooters, just trigger press, how to trigger bullet without moving the gun in the sights. And then arm position, you can work on that. He was straight armed, which doesn't really make it good for recoil control, so it'll be more inconsistent up and down. But we'll work on that, so.
But we'll get this dialed in. Your dot's not too far off, so I mean, you got it decently placed from using that foam block. But using this setup that we have, we'll get it a little more dialed in for you. Now we've made our adjustments, and let's see if we are hitting center here. Here we go. Cool, let's go take a look. So something kind of cool and interesting, guys. Same exact style of grouping, right? We have a few group dead center and then one right and one left. A few group center, one right, one left. So Marco, we were kind of talking about, the difference between, like, people are asking us all the time, hey, what are you getting when you buy, a $2,000 to $3,000 staccato over a $700 SIG? Like, accuracy with the barrel.
Yeah, you get this versus this.
Right? And guys, don't get me wrong, as far as like what you'd be dealing with, like, dude, within 10 yards, for a defensive shooting, this is going to get you exactly where you want to be. That's still the size smaller than this alpha, head box.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to go off of these. I'm just going to adjust him probably, honestly, 1 click down, guys, and probably 2 clicks to the right, and we should be good there. But just so you guys can see, it's like, because I'm always wondering, hey, is it me? Am I messing up these groups? But when I'm getting the same exact group there and there, that's telling me that that's your accuracy that you're going to be getting out of a $750 X macro.
Yeah, the barrel will just string that way. That's why we recommend go check your gun yourself. You'll see how your barrel is stringed, so you understand that cone of fire.
All right, guys, so we got both dots dialed in now, and Marco was kind of talking to us about the manufacturing side of things when it comes to barrels, so I want to have him break it down for you guys. But when you guys ask about like a staccato bull barrel versus, a SIG production barrel, kind of like go over for them. I mean, obviously you can see the thickness, but
yeah,
what all goes into that, and why is this more accurate?
The 2011 is obviously going to be fit most of the time, so the fit and finish to the slide is going to be better. It'll give you a more rigid accuracy there as far as like the lockup when the slide goes forward. The factory barrels, they do well, as you can see, but it's thinner. Then depending what number barrel was on the machine cutting time, you never know how that tool was cutting it. So
meaning like, is a tool like
is a tool
worn
sharper,
out?
Is it worn out?
Gotcha.
Depending if the tech changed or not the machine. They usually do a good job about it, but there will be a variance there.
But you were saying the grouping that we got, just a little over an inch, that's
acceptable.
still...
That's like, for that gun, that's good. That's what you're going to see most of the time. But with the 2011, that's of course what you're going to see with that, because that's why you pay the extra.
And I feel like people get this unrealistic expectation. They think that every gun's going to group like their staccatos, having one hole. But guys, it's not. And like I've started to learn this. We have a video that we're going to do. Marco and I are going to take a bunch of different guns, high to low end, and shoot groups at 25 yards to show you guys, the actual practical accuracy of your handguns at 25. But, Marco works on the manufacturing side. He's developed a lot of products that he's using in competition. So I want him to come in here and just kind of explain to you guys. Because a lot of people go like, okay, the barrel's thicker, but what else? So appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Sure.
All right, so something I noticed with your stance, you said you work in an office, so I'd imagine you're kind of standing relaxed in your office a lot.
Mm-hmm.
With the stance that I typically run, it's more of an aggressive stance, and the best way I can explain it to people, if you don't do any type of martial arts where you're like shooting and tackling somebody or football or anything like that, think of if you're pushing a car. Mm-hmm. So right now where you're at, with your feet kind of squared off and closer together, you wouldn't be able to have leverage to push a car, right? Mm-hmm. You'd want to bring that right leg back,
right,
and kind of get a more aggressive stance and a little bit wider base.
Okay.
So kind of get your feet shoulder width apart. So bring out your right foot a little more. There you go. And now think, if you were about to push a car, where would you be?
Like
there you
this.
go. So not as so crouched over, but I want you to shoot from that stance so it's got a little more power in your base for you, and that's where it's all going to start. Okay? So on the buzzer again, I'm going to have you draw, stay in that stance, and then we'll just see how you're doing. Okay, your dot is pretty good now, so everything that we're seeing, if you're low and left still, we definitely know it's going to be some stuff we want to change with your grip and your trigger pull. All right, stand by. Okay, and holster. So 10-6-3. About the same time, going down to look, you had 2 touching here, 3 in the alpha, and then 3 in the Charlie. So, a couple things to think of, right? Defensively, is this acceptable? Yes, you're going to be hitting mid-stomach and then lower towards the pelvic girdle. Great. But if you're aiming here, we want them here. Okay, so Mark and I are going to work on some things that we're seeing with your grip and your trigger press and just not moving the gun. Like he was saying, that's #1 issue that most people have, is just moving the gun as they're breaking that shot. So we'll adjust that. But how did it feel for you as far as the stance?
The stance was much better.
Yeah.
I felt less of the recoil.
Okay, perfect, and that's what we wanted. All right, so I'm going to have Marco hop on there now with you in regards to your grip and trigger pull. He'll walk you through some stuff, and then we'll shoot it again.
Okay.
All right, next, so we went over the stance already, so now you know how to stand aggressively. Now we're gonna fix your arms, because you were straight arming it. So usually with straight arms, you're gonna get a lot more shock and recoil. It's harder to control. You wanna put a slight bend to it, so let's see what you look like right now. Just make a fist. That's pretty good, that's good. So yeah, as you can see there, if I push on him now, it's gonna be more controlled. Versus if you're straight arm, you're actually gonna bump back more. That's why you see a lot of new shooters when they start shooting, they end up like this.
It's kind of like when you have bad shocks and
pretty much,
and you
it's
feel
doing this.
every bump on the road.
Yeah. Plus, this is actually better later if you have more targets in front of you, because you can actually transition easier with a slight bend in the elbows, because it'll keep your shoulders relaxed. If you were straight armed, it'd be hard because you're almost like a tank turret. Now you're fixed.
Okay.
So this is going to help you for everything in general. All right, Nick, you got your stance down. We got your elbows fixed. Now we're going to do the build drill for the third time. See how it goes. Are you ready?
Yes.
Stand by.
Good.
And good. Yep, and whole strip. So 1174. Let's go check out those hits this time.
Way better accuracy.
Yeah.
Take a look at those.
That looks way better already. So watching you even pull the trigger that time, I could tell you were even controlling the trigger much better. And I did not see a slight dip in the gun anymore like you were doing earlier. So that's why the grouping is tighter there. These two were just the ones that were the bad trigger pulls, which you did one for sure, because I saw this one go down.
Yeah.
And yes, I saw you shoot one early on the reset. So early.
So in a
Down.
match where Marco's at, this would be 5 Alpha,
Yep.
1 Charlie, which is great.
Yeah.
Meaning you got 5 shots
Yep.
where you wanted,
Yep.
and then 1 in the Charlie area.
Yeah.
How did that feel with bending your elbows, not being
A lot
fixed at all?
better.
Yeah.
A lot better. You can.
Yeah,
You can.
you did not
feel
move.
the difference.
Yeah.
Did you notice
As
that
you
were
can
able
see.
to track the dot easier?
Yes, my dot stayed in my field of view.
That's
Cool.
That's what you want. We just got to raise this up now and then clean it up a little more. All right, Nick. So now we're just gonna isolate the trigger control right now. I put a reference point in that target, a little Sharpie mark on the A box for the head box. All I want you to do now is gonna be slow fire, no timer, nothing, slow controlled. We're just gonna learn how to prep the trigger, find the wall, squeeze without moving the sight. So let's see. So you can raise the gun up. No timer, no pressure. Make sure you're good shooting stance. So aggressive stance in, elbows are good. Let's loosen that up. Yeah, there you go. So now I'm gonna find the wall, put the dot where you want it. Nice and easy press through. Don't move the gun. Squeeze. Yep, good. Perfect. See where that bullet went?
Yeah.
Dead on bullseye. Yep, good. Keep going. Good. Good. Reset again. Looks good. Let's go 3, 1, 2, 3, and holster up. Let's go look at those hits. Yeah, pretty good. That first shot, perfect. So,
What was the first one?
right there.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you guys can see
Yep.
little black reference
Yep.
point that he had.
So now we're tightening it up, as you can see from the previous group. So it's getting a lot tighter already by about 1 inch, 2 inches there. So just all control.
What do you think so far, Nick?
I think it's good.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what I want to do
Yeah.
when I'm dry firing at
Yeah.
home is
Just learn how to
find
isolate.
a point and
Yep.
get into the stance and
Yeah.
just be able to pull the trigger without
Moving the sight.
off the
As stupid as it sounds, put the sight on, don't move the sight, pull the trigger.
Yeah.
That's all shooting really is, especially with the red dot. So as you're doing a lot better now, it's like 2 inch difference. So, and they're a lot more center line versus left now. So.
Now we're going to jump into a presentation draw. So guys, throughout my training and years of experience, I've seen everything from 7-point, 5-point. I prefer just a 4-point presentation draw. I like the KISS method, keep it simple, stupid. So we break it down into 1, 2, 3, 4, and that way we can get you with a more proper draw. So I'm just going to break it down, and then we'll have him kind of do it dry fire, going over it on and off camera. That way it's not, just a bunch of footage here of you guys watching us draw. But for me, the 4-point presentation draw, it's simply, first stage is here. I'm going to index where my hands need to be, get a proper grip, and then if your gun does have any safeties like my Staccato CS does, I'm going to engage that safety. So on 1, it's going to look like bringing my support hand to my chest. It's going to marry up here on point 3, and then the other hand is going to my gun, establishing a good purchase, a firm grip. My grip at the holster is the same grip out here. So I'm getting exactly how tight I want to squeeze that grip. Everything is happening here at stage 1. So boom, 1, indexing both hands, getting a proper grip, engaging the safety. Okay. 2 is getting the gun out of the holster and orientated downrange towards my threat. So 1 to 2. 3, I'm simply just marrying up my hand at the chest. And for this, guys, the best thing I've found, it's just like clapping. So if I was going to clap this gun into my hand, that's the best way. It's very intuitive. It's normal. We all clap. So if you're just at home, clap right now as you're watching this video. Boom. 1, 2, 3, clapping my hands, marrying up, and then 4, bring the red dot up to my field of view, to my line of sight, lining it up on the target. Okay. The other thing I do here at 4 is I'm actually prepping and engaging the trigger, because for me, guys, if I'm drawing my gun, my intention is to use it. So again, 1, 2, 3, as I'm extending out to 4, I prep to that wall. That way, at full extension, or the second that my target is in my field of view with my dot where it needs to be, I'm pressing that trigger. So you'll see a lot of times in matches where Marco and I are at, where a target is maybe 3 yards away. If I'm here already, I'm already prepped on that trigger and shooting here before I'm at full extension, because I know that here, where as soon as I see that dot on target, my round's gonna go where it needs to go, especially at this close distance. So one more time, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm prepped here at 4, ready to fire if I need to, and most likely if I'm drawing all the way out to 4, I'm firing. So I'm gonna do it for you guys live real quick, and then I'm gonna have Nick here do a few times dry fire, and then we'll have him go and see if we're improving on that bill drill time. And the reason, guys, I'm using a bill drill, it's just something to give us data on where we're improving or if we're not. All right, guys, we are hot now. And again, just a 4-point presentation draw on the buzzer. I'm gonna shoot a bill drill here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom, I bring it back in from 4 to 3, come to 2, and then move my garment back to 1. So that's what a 4-point presentation draw looks like for me. You know, share down below in the comments. Do you guys use a 7, a 5-point? Do you break it down into 3? Do you make it shorter? Some guys just go 1 to 2. I've seen so many different versions of it, but let me know what works for you guys. We're gonna have Nick try the 4-point presentation draw a few times dry, and then we'll have him run it live for you guys and see if his bill drill times come down. That time for me was a 3:47, which is about half a second faster than the first one I ran, and we're all alpha if you look down here. All right, Nick, we're gonna walk you through the 4-point presentation draw. I will call out the numbers and we'll go through the steps, okay? Gun's dry, we cleared it out, guys. Let's start with 1, go ahead. Boom, bring your support hand to the chest, okay? Now 2 is going to be clearing the holster and pointing your gun downrange, so go ahead. Yep, good reference point is the mag on the rib cage. This is what you would use for close retention shooting. It's a style of shooting, well, it's kind of further down the road, we'll get into it. But 3 is going to be marrying up your hands at the chest, so bring the gun to your other hand at the chest, like you're clapping. There you go. And at 4 is full extension. Okay? So now go back to 3, which is here. A lot of people will call this high compressed ready, meaning the gun's brought in, it's high on your body, it's compressed, you're ready to point out and fire if you had to. Okay, so that's 3.
But 3, I'm not trying to.
Here's the thing, like if your target is 2 feet away from you, could you shoot from here? Sure, right? You know that if this guy's right here, by all means you could. Okay. And so this is where Mark and I were talking about, like from 3 to 4, as I'm pushing out and presenting, I'm starting to prep to that wall. So as you start pushing out to 4, go ahead and start pushing out and get the dot in your field of view. So you want to be, when you get to that point, keep a little bit of bend here.
Okay.
When you get to that point, you want to have the dot in your field of view and you want to be at that wall. So right now, if you were to press your trigger, is there any more slack? Boom, perfect. So you see how at full extension, you're already there? Okay, so back at full extension, go back out. Go back out. Yep, go ahead, all the way back out. Now come back to 3, where you're clapping, finger off the trigger, straight along the side, there you go, indexed. Now come back to 2, so hands up here, hand, there you go. And then if you had to shoot, and then now, what we were talking about before, if you can't find your holster, go ahead and look, man. It's much faster to look and get it in there, and then bring your field of view back up, your vision back up. Okay? We're gonna have you do that about 20 times, and then we'll see how it looks and translates onto live fire.
Okay.
All right? Cool. Okay, boom. Cool. Okay, so 1 is good. Now what I want you to think about is how hard is it to go
from here to here?
Yeah, that's exactly.
Is weird.
So
for me to get it here.
Perfect. I'm gonna go over that right now, right? So 1 is here. All 2 is just sweeping the gun forward. Okay. So I want you, don't put the gun in your hand, just like this. If you're here, I want you to point at that guy's stomach. That's the same thing. Ready, look, watch. Point at that guy's stomach.
Okay.
Like Marco was saying, just point at your target.
Okay.
So 1, oh, point at that guy.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like think about if you were talking with your nurses and you're like, got it. Same exact thing. And that's all 1, 2.
Okay.
Okay? So try that now. Get the hand up there. Yep, 2. That's it. 3. Okay, so from here, what's harder to do? Is it harder to find the dot when it's like this high versus if you're here, 3, bringing this up and seeing it? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because now you're not having to look over the muzzle, you can just look at that iron or that dot. And a real cheater way to do this, just line up your irons. Watch, line up your irons right now. See how you can see the dot?
Yeah.
Because you're zeroed now.
Yeah, the good way to index it. Fine irons, dot will show up. Until you get used to just dot only.
And just fix your feet. Because right now, if I was to push you, say you're going to fall
Yeah.
over,
Yeah.
versus get a little wider base. There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, see your grip and stance look 10 times better already. And so go to 3s right here, like this. Okay?
Okay.
So right here, see how I'm high and compressed? Look at my elbows. You can bring your elbows out. Okay? And this is like, if you and me were like, we're at your office and we got to clear a room, we can't be like this walking around the hallway, right?
Yeah.
We need to be in here because we're going to have to look, right? So I'm pushing a door and I'm looking. That's where this comes from.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So this is 3. So all I want you to do, like Marco was saying earlier, right now we're going to go from 3 out to 4. So bring it out. Where's your dot? Is it there?
No.
So get it towards there. Take as much time as you need to get it there. There?
Yeah.
Okay, bring it back. There?
Yeah.
So just do that. Literally, like, this is what I do at home for like 50 times. So eventually it goes from this speed of like, we're there, okay? So I want you to call it out. I'm gonna listen to what I'm saying, okay? There. There. The second you see that dot,
Okay.
just say like, there, have it, whatever.
There. 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 There.
Now speed it up each time.
There. There.
Okay, faster. There you go.
There.
So you see how it took a second when you got the extension?
Yeah. There. 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 There.
Good. So now
There.
taking the draw, breaking it down into 3-4 and 1-2 is going to help make 1-2-3-4 much smoother for you. Right? So go ahead, go 3-4 again.
3 to 4.
Boom. Come back in. Go 3-4 again.
3 to
Cool. Now go back to the holster all the way to 1. Now let's practice 1-2, right? So 1-2, I know this is starting to feel unnatural. Again, the hand coming up is just representing like you blocking something, whatever. It doesn't have to be all the way up here. If somebody's hitting you, it could be you protecting yourself, and this is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But all for me, for training purposes on the range right now, it's to get your hand away from that muzzle. Okay, so for 1 and 2, we're just going to go right here. So you don't have to bring it all up high. It can just be here. It's just where do you naturally clap? Bring your hands to where you're clapping.
Yeah.
So if we're to move and you're clapping, keep this left hand right there.
Okay, that makes sense.
So now for 1, just bring your hands like this. So like if you're talking to somebody in your office, boom, here, 1, 2. That's all I want you to do.
Okay.
1, 2.
Okay.
So let's try that a bunch of times. So go to 1 and go to 2. Boom. Come back in. 1. Okay. Come back out to 2. Okay. Come back into 1. 2. Okay. So you're going all the way to 3 now. See, it's good though. You're wanting to move forward. So 1, 2. Okay. Go back to 1. Okay. So now let's put it all together. Okay. So let's do 3, 4 a couple more times real quick.
Okay.
Come all the way to 3. Okay. So 3, 4. Go back out to 4. There you go. Are you able to find the dot?
Yep.
Okay. All right, now piecing it together, go to 1, 2. So go 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Now you see how it's feeling natural? Like you automatically at 3 want to go out to 4.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Boom.
What? But it's still the getting the dot.
Try to point your front
Yeah.
sight at the target.
Huh?
Try to point your front sight at the target.
Yeah.
Yeah, so index your front sight to the target. Your dot might show up better.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Better?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah,
much
use the front
better.
sight to point at it. Like an index point. Like a spear.
And now naturally you're going 1, 2, 3, 4 on your own. Okay, so I want you to come all the way out to 4 and stop. So go all the way out to 4. Yeah. Nice. There you go. All right, let's load up. There you go, there's 6. Back in. Okay, so 954. So you cut off a whole second from the first time we did this. This is only, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th time maybe doing this. So let's go down and take a look now. Now we've definitely fixed, you're not hitting low and left anymore. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where's number 6? 1, 2, 3. Or do you shoot 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think I only shot 5.
Okay. So yeah, you got what? Almost all of them in. So where was your dot? Where were you seeing?
Right, I was trying to go for right here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do this drill like 2, 3 more times, but much better.
Yeah.
Does it feel more smooth?
Much more smooth.
Okay. So now the thing right now, we got all these things going through your head, like with the draw and your grip and everything, and how to bring that dot into your vision. But what happened? The first thing we started with was your feet, right? Mm-hmm. So again, what happened? Your feet came in.
Yeah.
So let's throw your stance back into it, and let's go again.
Okay.
There you go. 7, 4, 6. So you cut off 3 seconds from your initial start. That's awesome. 295 draw. But now look at this accuracy. You're having splits under a second. So your lowest one was an 8.6. But you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you were telling me at your office last week that with moving over to red dot, you were struggling with this smaller, like 9 mil. Getting your rounds where you wanted them to go, and now you're just shooting a little low, but it's awesome, right?
Yeah.
You had 7.5 seconds, you're able to put 6 rounds cleanly on, what's the alpha zone, like 6 inches? 6 by 8?
Something like that, yeah.
Wow.
That's awesome, it's
That's
great.
awesome.
And this is only, what, we did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, your 7th time running this drill. Very, very good and very cool. There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, break the shot. Don't let, okay, now let it out slowly. Okay, press again. Let it out slowly, press again. Let it out slowly, press again. Let it out slowly, press again. Press again. There you go. Go ahead and holster. Go take a look. So we got 1 through this guy, you got 1 here, and look, we got 2 touching here. So this is a very slow method of shooting. People call it click bang, and what it does is it allows for the gun to not move because all you're doing is letting the trigger out to that reset. So there's no time, there's no more prep. You took out all the prep when you reset the trigger. Okay, so what happens is you get to a point where it's super fast, so instead of hearing boom, click, you're actually, as the gun's cycling, so boom, gun goes off, gas comes back, and the slide starts to cycle, you're resetting that as the it's in-flight reset. So as the slide's resetting, you're resetting the trigger, and you're back at that wall as it's going, and so you can break off the next shot. And that's just how you get faster. And the drill that I was showing, kind of breaking it down on a drum beat, that's how I got fast with mine, just breaking down, because then I learned where it was at. Mm-hmm. So I knew when I come out here, I know where it's at. Boom, right away, right away, right away, right away. Mm-hmm. All right? Okay, and holster. There you go. 10.9, coming back down range. So this is a Delta now. So when we had our other buddy out here, you get to a point where when you come out on the range, you'll train enough to where you start getting to your failure point.
Yeah.
How hot it is, how much rounds we've been shooting, we're getting there.
Yeah.
So you're gonna start getting fatigue and it's diminishing returns, right?
Yeah.
So we've been out here, it's now 2:30. We've been out here since what, 11? So 3.5 hours, 110 degree weather. Yeah, it's expected. But you got it down from 10.5 seconds to 7.5 seconds
Right.
with all alpha zone. Okay, so like we were talking in your office, like definitely doable. You see how much you were able to improve with 3.5 hours of training.
Right.
Now throw in, you know, a couple weeks of dry fire at home. You know, with stuff you can do from, you can practice the draw at home. You
Yeah.
can learn about resetting your trigger at home and feeling where that reset is.
Yeah.
Marco's great drill of bringing the gun from pretty much 3 to 4 to get the dot in your line of sight. Like the whole thing we talked about, bringing the food to your mouth versus
Right.
kind of like how a lot of people will bring their head down and try to find the dot versus just bring the dot up to your line of sight.
Right.
Okay. So all of that coupled together, we'll get you back here on the channel again, and we'll see. We definitely get you closer, you know, under 7.5.
I think so.
But yeah, coming down from pulling 3 seconds off your time and getting you completely accurate is great.
Getting it a lot more closer
Yep.
together.
Cool.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, one thing I want to do before we hop off the range, guys, I talked about the Primary Arms ACSS reticle that I have in my Holosun 509T earlier. I really like this reticle because it's going to give you an outer border, and I didn't show this to him yet because I didn't want him to shoot this and kind of use it as a crutch. But secondly, Nick, one of the first guns he started shooting was a 1911, so he really prefers that grip angle and he's used to it. So he's new to the staccato platform. I'm going to have him shoot my CS and see what he thinks. Hasn't shot it, hasn't handled it yet, so you guys can see it on camera. But there's going to be a couple things you notice when you shoot this. As you bring it up, you're going to see a large outer ring. That is showing you where the dot is. So if you're seeing the ring on the right, you know you need to move, you need to tilt the gun to get it back to. You shouldn't see the ring, the outer ring. You should just see the chevron. My dot is a triangle. It's a chevron. The tip of that chevron is where you want to put on that A zone. Okay. And how you shoot my target now. So it's kind of, it'll make more sense here when you look at it. And I'll bring it in for you guys through the optics so you can see. But I'm gonna hand my gun over to Nick. So just like your 1911, you'll hit that safety down. So get a nice stance. Go ahead and go to position 3 real quick.
Okay.
And then hit the safety down.
Yes.
Okay. Now bring it up to your vision just so you can kind of get a feel for the optic. Do you see the outer ring?
Yeah.
Do you see how it forces you to go center?
Yeah. Exactly.
So this is a really great reticle that Primary Arms came out with because it's going to help new shooters. Or if you're somebody that's been running red dot, if you get an unorthodox position like you're laying on your side and you're presenting, it's not normal, it helps guide you back to center. So do you see how once you line the sight up correctly, you don't see that outer circle anymore?
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's how you know you're centered, and that's how you know, okay, I'm good and I can see the dot now. So once you get a nice tight grip, and I want you to go ahead and just shoot 6 rounds in that A zone on my target and see how it feels to you. Get a nice tight grip and go for it.
That's really nice.
Right?
I want one of these.
All right, so let's go down and take a look real quick. So you had a couple guys go left on you, but like we were talking about before, it's kind of getting towards the end of the range session for us, but you have these guys over here. So 1, 2, 3. So 3 Alpha, 3 Charlie. But I know with shooting 1911s, 2011 probably feels a lot more natural to you.
Yeah.
Feels very similar.
Yeah.
So, but we were talking about before.
It moves a whole lot less in your grip. I feel like my gripping on this, I always get a little bit of jiggle, but on that, I felt like it just fits in my palm.
Yeah, so it might be worth looking into. I think the SIG X Macro is great. I carry a really tricked out one. It's got metal grips. I'll let you shoot that too, because there's things you can do to improve that, to like make it fit your palm swell better and stuff like that. But you know, I carried my Staccato CS for a very long time, and like the gun produces really good results. The accuracy, how compact it is, you're still getting 15 rounds. So I think it's a really good gun. But again, we're talking $2,600 versus $700. So is it worth it? You guys let me know down below in the comment section. If you ask Marco, he's already good.
All day. All day. I don't know what you guys are talking about. All day.
Just for fun, back here at 60 yards, and we're going to shoot the CS and the X Macro from SIG just to see the difference on how we're hitting. Here we go. So what, like 5 misses
Yeah,
out of 15?
just low, below it.
All right, let's try the X macro. Still a decent amount on there.
Yeah.
17 rounds. I'd have to look back, but probably,
And most of the misses are stringing left to right, like we saw in the
Yeah.
thing.
so probably like 5 to 7 misses there, but definitely doable at 60 plus yards with both guns, guys. But like Marco was saying, like what we noticed up close, we had deviation on the x-axis being left and right with the windage. So back here, I mean, obviously that's going to amplify.
Yeah.
But again, would you be taking a shot at 60 yards?
With the rifle.
I'm trying to get center.
So put the tip of the chevron at his neck.
Okay. Feel like my grip is all
Bailey?
sweaty.
There you go.
Wow.
Go for another.
Yep. So find the wall, stay on it for a second. Keep the dot steady, squeeze. There you go. Better. Yep. Yep, find the wall. Squeeze.
That's cool.
Yep.
I want one of these.
All right, guys, wrapping up the video, just some final thoughts on everything we went over. Today was just a session to bring out our buddy Nick and go over some stuff, guys. Understand that, like, it was kind of a really rapid pace. Like, all of this stuff, hell, in the Police Academy with Metro, this is a 40-hour course. You go out to, like, you know, credible instructors, they're gonna spend 8 to 10 hours in one day on all of this stuff. So please understand, this was just us kind of wanting to bring him out and just go over some stuff that he can take home with him, do some dry fire with, and the next time he's on the range by himself, go over. But you know, things that you can definitely train at home. We talked about learning about that trigger and the reset. Like we said, you want to get it to a point where you're not really hearing that click. It's more happening as the gun is cycling in flight reset. Really great drill Marco was telling you about. Go home with your red dot. So pretty much from stage 3 to 4, just find, like, I use the light switch on my wall. You know, something I got from Travis Haley like years ago. He would talk about. I aim at the lights, so I look at the light switch, like he was saying, your eyes lead. So I'll look at the light switch and I'll bring the gun up to where I get that dot on that light switch, and that'll help you with finding that dot, especially when you're going, like he was saying, from target transition, target to target. Other things, the draw, 4-point presentation draw, you can look it up. There's a bunch of great demos online about different presentation draws. You might see it broken down into 7, 5, 6, whatever. They're pretty much all the same, but that draw eventually turns into what you see us doing really fast. You know, there's other draws out there. I know a lot of guys liking the scoop draw stuff. I'm just too invested in the draw that I've been using for 20 plus years that I'm not going to change. But find what works for you. Any questions before we hop off range?
Nope. I actually find that it's one thing to learn how to shoot, but it's another thing to do the dry fire at practice at home.
Sure.
I mean, even the few reps that we did were immensely helpful.
Cool. And then Marco, anything?
No, it was good. Did fine. It was a hyper compressed course there.
All right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So guys, we appreciate you checking out. We know that some of you were like, hey, more videos like this. You know, Nick works here in town. He's in an office for a good majority of the day. So he was talking about how, like, when you show up to work, it's like 6 a.m. There's nobody else in the parking lot there. There's nobody else in the office. And the same thing when he leaves, he's leaving kind of late night. So same thing. So you wanted to get some more reps in, some more training. You guys out there too that have, you know, I'm trying to bring people on the channel that other people can relate to from our audience. So I know a lot of you guys out there don't have the time to get out to the range like Marco and I do every week. So hopefully some of the stuff here will help you. If you got questions or other, you know, advice, tips that we can do, or you want to see some more stuff in a different video, let us know down below. We definitely listen to the feedback from our audience. We appreciate you guys watching. Marco, appreciate you helping as always, bud. Nick, thanks for making time and coming out, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys watching. Definitely like, subscribe, do all that awesome stuff. We appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one.